Hello, hello. Here we are again, coming to you from the Paranormal World Show under the umbrella of Broadcast Team Alpha on 44 different platforms around the world. And we're going to have some fun tonight again. My name is Aage, and I'm the host. And yes, we have a phenomenal guest with us, a man that has done more research than a lot of people out there. But also, I want to let you know that we are transmitting on Conscious Awakening Network. It's a wonderful platform. You guys got to go look at that because they have about 50 different shows over there that talk about all the stuff that both you and me need to know about. I spent some extensive time over there and enjoyed every second of it, and I think you should too. And then I want to let you know how you can get a hold of me. You can go to broadcastteamalpha.com and find the contact feature, send us an email, and we'll get the email and we'll get back to you. And we'll see what we can do for you. And also, if you are watching us on YouTube now, that's just one of the platforms, that's the place to be because there we can participate, answer questions and stuff in the chat room. So that will be something to think about. Anyway, I want to say a few things about the guest here. I've known about him for quite a while because of his research. We have never talked before today, and this is gosh, he is an immigrant to the United States as I am, and I hope I am not butchering his name here. Shahrukh Zadeh.
Yes,
How close is that?
pretty
Yeah.
close.
Uh,
Thank you.
okay, very good. He is the author of Sha'Z Square, Ancient Mysteries Decoded. Now, that's an interesting title. And of course, I went to Amazon to have a look at the book, and I discovered something that I had never seen before. Not even my books. All 5 stars. There's not one, two, three, 4 stars. There's all 5 stars. And that's the reason, folks, why you probably should go over to Amazon and have a look at the subjects that he writes about. You're gonna find some things in there that will really raise your eyebrows, and you're gonna love getting that book, and you're gonna study it because there's 5 stars. Anyway, I want to say a few things about him, and that is that he's a pioneering researcher. He's an author, speaker, and a founder of Ancient Mysteries Decoded. He combines multiple disciplines and created the Mysteryology method. I want him to comment on that. That's a brand new word. It should be in the dictionary. And and as the first Mysterologist, he reveals hidden patterns in ancient sites, natural features, and he explains mysterious regions like the Bermuda Triangle, the Skinwalker Ranch, and he ties it in with UFO sightings. There are some areas that has more UFO sighting than others. So there are some connections to actually plain science and Earth grid. And there's a system to this that mainstream science have no clue on. And if they do have a clue, they won't tell you. So I want to say welcome to the show, Shahrukh.
Thank you so much, Aga. It's a pleasure to be in your show and also it's honor. I want to say hi to all the audience that you have, and I hope I can be useful in this presentation.
Oh, this is going to be good because your research reaches outside into the principles behind things that other researchers are discovering. And
Mhm.
it always work better with understanding if you understand how and why things work. So anyway, now you have talked and written on so much, and I would say I got your website up here too, and it's a really interesting one. You can find him at Ancient Mysteries Decoded.com. For those of you that like to surf the web at the same time you listen, you can go and have a look there. You can look at the books and everything. So, where do you think you want to start this? I'm kind of losing myself. Maybe what do you think is most important that maybe we should understand?
Well, I think that in our life, three things are very important: the beginning, the journey, and the end.
Mhm.
So we are born in one day, and we go in one day. We say bye bye. But during this time between the birth and the death time, we have a journey. Okay, you can use it, or you can just waste it. Okay, my message always is to for everybody is to follow your curiosity. Uh, there's also saying that follow your dreams, and I totally with that. But following your curiosity is a little bit different because to being curious, you have a process behind it, and that goes back to your logic and whatever you learned. So when you learn something, you put everything together, questions comes up, and follow those questions. Those are very important questions because it's the outcome of your thoughts. Okay, so follow your curiosity. So when I was a kid, I was always curious about technology, how things are working, and why they built that. I remember when I was young, I received a watch, a mechanical watch, for the first time. I was 10 years old, and I was so curious to see how it works, how the handles work. So me and my sister, we went to the room right after I received the gift, and the guest was, I mean, the guests were in the other room. So I started opening the watch to see how it works, and I destroyed it just to try to understand how it works. So that was a pain because my father asked me to come in. I showed the watch, and I had a destroyed watch in my hand.
Did you ever put it together?
I tried to show everything was good because the surface was still there, but behind the surface it was gone. And me and my sister was standing, turning red in front of the host, hoping that she doesn't get it. She doesn't find out that we just destroyed the back of the watch. So that's who I am. All the toys and everything I had, I try to figure out how they work. So
Yeah.
it starts from there. And I'm young. I'm like about not even 10 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, some of us start learning really early because maybe there is some hunger to find out how things work that we brought with us when we came
Yeah.
to this ball of mud called Earth.
Yes. And that was always with me. And I'm sure it's also with you. And you always had some sort of questions, small or big, doesn't matter. And you always try to find the answers. Sometimes you get the answer easily by just asking your mom, dad, or somebody around you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes time, it takes energy, effort. So, anyways, and sometimes you cannot stop and give up on that question. You have to keep going. And so that's me. So I started by one question when I was like about 18, 19 years old. And then I end up here right now talking with you uh, and in front of your audience.
Yeah. Now there I'm wondering though, how does physics, astronomy, and mathematics actually help us reveal some of these secrets? When we look at it, we don't think about the principles behind it. We are kind of amazed with the creation of it, but how does it help understanding what's behind it?
Well, the good thing is that we don't want to reinvent the wheel. So many people like Isaac Newton, Einstein, they came up with a lot of answers of their questions. So for me, uh, instead of going around and try to figure out the same answers for the same questions that I have that Isaac Newton had before, So instead of wasting my time in that way, I can go to his book and get those information. Some of them now, the knowledge that we have, I can tell, is now categorized into different disciplines. One of them is physics. One of them is mathematics. And they worked hard on that during time until they put them together, sort them out, and make them much more accessible and easy to understand and comprehend today. So that's why we go to school and we achieved all those answers after years and years and decades and centuries other people worked on. So that makes it easy. But what we need to know is that our science, all the disciplines that we have, are not complete. Yeah. We have still a long way to go. So the questions that you have in your mind, some of the answers are in the science. Some of them are not. Okay, you have to go and figure them out. Either way, the answer is in the nature. Our nature holds all the secrets, all the answers. We are yet to discover them. And that's what we're trying. So I believe that all the disciplines that we have, the answer to all the questions relies on the nature, how much we know about the nature. So to answer your questions, how physics and mathematics help, I can tell that the language of the universe is mathematics. And I'm not talking about sophisticated mathematics, not very complex ones. I'm just talking about simple ones like shapes and numbers, right? The numbers that they use in the universe is different than the numbers that we use. We invented the 10 digits, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But does the universe follow this? We invented vocabularies. We now can communicate with each other via vocabularies and sentences and paragraphs, right?
Yeah.
But the universe is not following our rules. It has its own rules. Okay, it has its own method of communication. Okay, so we are still behind from nature's communication, nature's language, and other stuff. So if you have a question in your mind out of your curiosity, the first source is the science. You go there and try to see what our science figured out so far. And they always change and they always become better, they progress. But if you cannot find the answer, definitely the answer is in the nature somewhere.
Yeah.
That's where you should look. So that's how I started. And my method, Mysteryology, that I came up with the word, because I found a lot of mysteries are related to the nature. And but our science is not complete to answer those questions. So I involved nature inside the science as a new discipline. I combined them all. So now I look at the mysteries, any kind of mysteries that we have around us through science and nature.
Yeah, and you mentioned education, and I have a saying, I don't know where I got it. Maybe I made it up, I'm not sure. But it said, don't let your education interfere with, don't let your schooling interfere with your education, because education covers everything. Schooling, that is what we get from first grade through 15 or whatever it is. And there's another saying that there's few people more ignorant on most subjects than a university professor on any subject he does not teach. So it is very specialized. After we're done with our education, your schooling, that's when your education starts.
Yeah. Education and schooling are totally different.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful with all the teachers that I had in my life, all the people who taught me directly and indirectly. I read a lot of books by other authors, and that's my hobby. I just pick up a good book and start reading, and I always have a pile of book in front of me, sorted by the time I receive to read them. Right now, here I have like about something around 8, 9 of them.
Absolutely.
That I'm reading. So each time I'm trying to learn them. And I don't know these authors. I don't know them. I never met them. I never saw them. I never shook hand with them. I have a bunch of books here that I met the authors finally, and we spoke, and I got some ideas from them, and they autographed their book for me. So I'm grateful to have these kind of people around, and they could somehow deliver their message or their findings to me. So directly or indirectly. So that's one point. And so what I want to say is that everything I know right now today is based on what I learned from these authors and these actually researchers and scholars.
Yeah.
And then I put them together and I try to comprehend and understand. And then if there are some questions, I go to science. If not, I go to nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Let's maybe speak a little bit about your ancient mysteries. Like we have the pyramids, and there are pyramids all over the world. And you show that they're actually part of a large connected pattern, even though they are in all kinds of different locations. They're somehow connected.
Yeah. Well, that's a very thorough question. And the answer is very, I can tell it's very simple. Long time ago, our ancestors, when they came up with the answers of some of the questions that they had, they somehow wanted to register that in a way that their children can later on have access to the knowledge that they received and they achieved. Okay, so they built something like a clay, and they wrote the information on the clay. They also carved on stones. They also did some drawings. Whatever they could, they did that to deliver their knowledge to the next generation, maybe only 1 or 2 generations, because their average age in those years, in those era, were so short. If you can reach to 30 years old, you were like very old man. 30 years was a lot for a person, as much as I know. And nowadays, you can see our science helped us to increase our average age more than 55, 60 years now. And you can see a lot of people that they passed the 100 years old. And they're saying that if you can survive another 10, 20 years, probably you can live 1,000 years based on the achievements that we have, scientific achievements in biology and genetic and all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
So in those days, they established, they tried to come up with a method to deliver their knowledge to the next generation. One of method was to build the pyramids. That method, we have a lot of questions now, still remained. One of them is that why they chose rocks. That was a question. Now we know they chose rock because it's the hardest thing they had access to in those days. So they are using it so they can have the message over there for more than 1 generation. Another thing is that another question that we have these days is that how they deliver the rocks from long distances to that area that they built the pyramids. We don't know still. There are a lot of actually ideas, and we have a lot of facts and proofs for that, but 100% we are not sure how they delivered those gigantic, heavy rocks from far away, from a distance.
Yeah, 600 miles.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Another question that we have is that how they carved it, how they cut the stones, and so smoothly and so soft. Okay, how they polished it. Okay, yeah. And you can see a lot of images right now, or if you have a chance to go into these sites, the ancient sites, you can see how precisely those rocks, those stones, heavy and tough stones, have been cut smoothly and polished smoothly, put over there. The other question that usually people ask me is that how did they come up with the plan of the structure to put these rocks together to create a shape of a pyramid and or anything? One of the questions they ask me is that, for example, they say, did they created these pyramids in a shape of a pyramid for the erosions on the edges? Because pyramids, for example, the Egyptian pyramids, the base is a square or is a 4-angle square, or in some cases they're 8. And the top is only one dot, right? So we have 4 faces around, and we have 4 edges. So it's only 4 edges versus a cube that has, other like a pentagon that has 5 edges. So they created 4 edges, so they have less erosion. But from the other side, we see that Eskimos in Alaska and Northern Hemisphere, they came up with igloo. Igloo is a half of a square and it doesn't have the edges. Yeah. So with the knowledge that we have seen from the Egyptians, there's a question why they did not build it in an igloo shape. Okay, is it because of the erosion? So as you can see, there are a lot of questions here. And one question that I came up with to answer, the answer that I came up with for the question is that perhaps they're using 4 edges because they believe the number 4 is very valuable. So we have 4 elements in many societies, ancient societies, they believe that we have 4 elements. And in some societies like China, they believe we have 5 elements, main elements in the universe. When I'm talking about elements, I'm referring to air, fire, soil, and water, right? And Chinese tradition, societies, they believed in wood as well. So the number 4 might have come from there. Also, don't forget that we have in religion, for example, the Islamic religion, we have 4 main angels, okay? And so number 4 is somehow tightened to our religion and to our society and our beliefs about nature in those days. Perhaps the reason that the Egyptian pyramids are, and other pyramids around the world, they have a square base in the bottom of it, is due to the number 4. And in some pyramids, they found out that the faces, the faces are not 4 faces. Each one of those faces, the 4 faces, has been somehow intended a little bit inside to create 8 faces, but very more similar to a 4 face. So the reason is that the number 8 in many tradition societies is very good number, and they believed in infinity about number 8. And don't forget, it's not because of the Latin way they write the letter 8, like 8 that we use today. The main number 8 that they believed is there's 2 lines that they are close to each other in the top, and they're far away from the bottom. So it looks like 2 lines like this. And in a Persian society, which is the first civilization in the world, versus Egyptians, because Egyptians are the 3rd, as much as I believe. The 3rd society, civilization that was created ancient time is the Egyptian society. Before that, the first one was the Persians. The number 8 in Persian society is the same. Okay, and the reason is that in the top they're so close, and in the bottom is far away. They believe that as we grow, we go up to the unity. So there's one God, there's one creator, and that's why they believed. And interestingly, they believed in one God much more before the other prophets came out and they talked about the God and the creator as one. Very interesting. They came up with that. So one of the reasons that I think the pyramids are built in that shape is because we have a number 4 in the base, and we have number 1 in the top. So everything starts from death, goes all the way up to be united and become one at the ultimate, and that's towards the sky.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting philosophy that I came up with, and it's written on my first book, Sha'Z Square.
I think the Cheops is probably one of the oldest pyramids around, and many others has been copied from that. And the copies, they missed something. Everybody think that the Cheops pyramid has 4 sides, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It has 8 sides because there's a little bit of an indentation in the middle of both of all of those 4 sides. So now you mentioned number 8. with that indentation that I make it 8 sides, is there a correlation between there also, maybe?
There might be. That's what I was talking about. Another thing to let you know is that modern mathematics found out that we have some, which we came up with, is called the power. Okay, so if you have 2 in the power of 3, we come up with number 8. So, and that power presents the last single digit. So 2 in the power of 1 is 2. 2 in the power of 2 is 4, which is very interesting because the base of the pyramid is 4. And then 2 in the power of 3 is 8. Okay. And so that's how there's a relationship between number 4 and number 8. And that's mathematically is the exponent of the number 2. Okay. And why number 2 is important? Because you see in our nature, many of the species that we have, they all have only 2 genders, male and female. Probably that's why number 2 was very important for our ancient the mathematicians and engineers. And that's why they came up with 2 in the power of 1 is the genders. 2 in the power of 2 is number 4. So they came up with the elements. And then 2 in the power of 3, they came up with the number 8, which is infinite. And don't forget that numbers were the first numbers that was invented. I think the Sumerians, they only used 5 numbers. So they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then infinite. They could not count more than 5. So if you have a farm of animals and they can only count to 5 and they group them 5 by 5, that's where the tally numbers come in. You write 4 numbers and then 1 crosses. So you write 4 and then you cross 1. You write another 4, cross 1, because they could not count more than that. When they become advanced in numbers, they came up with 10. So they say, hey, we can group them by 10 digits. So that's where the number 10 came. Okay. Then they also invented the number 0. Number 0 was not invented at the beginning. So they either had nothing or they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then they invented 0 so they can come up with 10. And as you can see, number 0 is hollow, is a circle with a hollow.
Yeah.
So that's where the numbers came in. The Persians came up with number 20 because they used the fingers in their feet as well. And right now, if you go to Iran, you can see their education systems when they grade is based on 20. It's not like right now, these days, Americans, if you come to modern society, you see that the grades that they gave in their education system is based on 100. And they say percent. Okay, cent means 100, so it's per 100. Or they alphabet that by A, B, C, D. There's 4. And the last one is 5. The 5th one is F. So you can see how our education is very, very tight and related to our ancient mathematics that we had before to talk about science. Anyways, if that helps, number 8 is special. Another thing that I want to bring it up is that you and your audience may be interested in is that nature is following some numbers. For example, the relationship between a line, 1 dimension, and a circle, which is a 2-dimension shape, the most simple 2-dimension shape, is the number pi, 3.14.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's another number in nature that the nature is following is the golden ratio, for example, 1.61.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for this? If you add the 3 digits, it becomes 8.
Really?
So the pi number is 3.14.
Yeah.
3 plus 1 plus 4 is 8. The golden ratio also is 1.61, right? If you add 1 plus 6 plus 1 is again 8.
There's something about that.
So I don't know if our ancient mathematicians knew about that they came up with the number 8 for our pyramids. I don't know. But these are some signs.
Yeah. Now,
I wrote
how,
these lines in my book, The Sha'Z Square, also.
yeah. And you also mentioned that this ties into the Kaaba in Mecca.
Yes, Kaaba in Mecca is a very ancient site that I tried hard to find the source of it, who built that, but I couldn't. The only source that I found was the book Quran, which is the holy book of the Muslims. And over there, it says that I mean, two verses of the Quran, it's talking about the order of the God to Abraham to rebuild the Kaaba. It's not saying to build the Kaaba, it says rebuild. Means that there was a Kaaba, there was a specific area, and Abraham was told to go there in that specific location and rebuild that structure. Mm-hmm. And it's in a cube shape, approximately, not exactly. And very interestingly, it's not aligned with northeast, southwest. Although they were aware of north in those days. Why? Because we have ancient structures like the Giza pyramids that they're perfectly aligned northwest, southeast. So they were aware of directions, and but why they built this Kaaba a little bit tilted from northeast, southwest is a mystery that I found some clues, and I wrote it in my Sha'Z Square because of the things that I found over there.
Yeah, that's that's interesting because they talk about the black stone, and it's you know, we're talking to people around the world here, so this was probably a little interesting
Yeah, the
tidbit.
black stone, when they were building, the story is like this, as much as I found out. I might be wrong. The story is this, that while building the Kaaba, they found out that when they were looking around to find a perfect rock or stone to put over there while building the Kaaba, one of Abraham's kids, I don't recall which one, I think, he came up with a rock, a black rock, which might not even be black in that time, which might be a different color. But during time, it changed to black. It brought that rock. And so Abraham just didn't have a place to put it and put it in the corner over there and the edge of it, just to have like a symbol, something. That's what I know. There are more details. I'm not professional in religion and history, but it's not meant to be worshipped. It's meant to be a sign over there coming from God. Yeah. Eventually, that has been turned. It looks like that the color has been changed to black, and due to some events that happened before, it broke into small pieces, several pieces, but they put them together and they covered it with the steel or something around it to keep it steady.
Mm-hmm. I ran into some stories. I think I read two of them where someone was in the presence of the black rock, and they put their head touching the stone, and they got some mental images from it. So there may be consciousness housed in that rock that is released under circumstances that matches.
Very interesting. Well, I believe that we are all connected to each other, yeah, more or less, and not just with human entities, but also life entities, but also unalive entities, rocks, trees, statues. We're all connected to each other, and sometimes we directly get the message from the universe to our conscious, sometimes indirectly through an object.
Yeah.
So that's why many people worshipped statues and some other objects because that was an indirect channel to connect to the source, yeah, to the divine, to the God or whatever they believed. Okay, and so you see these kind of stories with other people touching other devices or other stones, but yeah, because of the height of that rock, the black rock is approximately in the height of the head. Okay, because they just installed it over there. It's now popular that people put their heads inside They think that they get some sort of energy, some sort of message, some sort of things. It's their belief. There's no doubt about it. Well, I respect everybody's belief. My belief is that no matter what, if the main connection is the source, which is the creator.
Yeah.
So me, instead of going indirectly, I try to go directly.
Yeah, and if we invoke some of the principles coming out of quantum mechanics, everything has consciousness or is consciousness.
So anyways, going back to my research, I came up with a relationship between these locations. Okay, so and then I came up with timing and other stuff. So I built my curiosity. I gathered the questions of my, I gathered the answers of the questions coming up from my curiosity during time, and there were a lot. So I was encouraged to start writing them down. As a person who was teaching for a long time in different levels, different subjects, I had to come up with a method, with a strategy to put this information in sequence. So I wrote my book, Sha'Z Square, first, and then I wrote my other book. Second book is called Sha'Z Mystic Lines and Areas. The reason I put the Sha'Z in between, because Sha, S-H-A, is the first three letters of my name, Sharuk, and Z is the first letter of my last name, Zadeh, Sharuk Zadeh. So that's why my daughter, my assistant, Avisa, she told me to just put Shah apostrophe Z instead of apostrophe S. That can be a creative way. I just did that in that time just to distinguish my square with other squares. So I came up with Sha'Z Square. But what is Sha'Z Square? So during time when I was younger and in Iran, I found out that their oldest civilization that they came up with some structures, very important structures, are the Sumerians. In the Mesopotamia area, the Sumerians came up with something called ziggurats. Okay, the ziggurats over there are very old, but they usually use clay. That's why many of them have been destroyed by time. So while looking at them, I found the relationship between two of the very important ziggurats. Their bases were square. Again, they were tilted a little bit, and there was one row of stairs in front of them.
Oh.
And when I followed the first one is the ziggurat of Dur in the top. When I followed the stairs, it reached the ziggurat of Dur. Or down. So the stairs came up with this to this one. Okay, and there was a distance between them. The second one also had almost a squarish base with another row of stairs towards another direction. Almost the same distance I went, and I reached to another ziggurat, which is also square, and that's called Chogozambil, and it's in Iran. The first two are in Iraq. The third one is in Iran. So interestingly, it creates a right triangle with same distances approximately. Very fascinating. So I came up with a triangle, like a Bermuda triangle. But then I thought that maybe this is half of a square, okay, because the bases are square. So I looked and I found the fourth location, which is the corner of this square. But that one is a rock, a big rock that the king of Persia ordered to carve the stone and the rocks over there, and with something, a design, something very nice. So this square, big, gigantic square, I called it Sha'Z Square because the ziggurats and that location creates a square which is a little bit tilted, and is tilted the same way as the Kaaba, the building, the cube, is tilted.
I was wondering about that.
They have the same angles and direction and almost dimensions, but shrinking, right?
That can't be coincidence.
That can't be coincidence. Another thing that to surprise you is that I came up with a triangle. The king part in Takbustan has the same distance to the Kaaba that it has to the Egyptian pyramids. So it's an isoscale triangle with the same distances in both sides. This
Wow.
is fascinating. This is for
Yeah.
the first time. So that's my book, the first book. The second book I wrote is the Sha'Z Mystic Lines and Areas, that I have that knowledge, and I brought it in United States. In United States, besides the very well-known Bermuda Triangle, which is in the ocean, we have three more triangles on the land, which are very important in the mainland of United States.
Yeah.
One of them in the right side, East Coast, one of them the left side in the West Coast, and one almost in the middle. Okay. The one that is near Boston is called the Bridgewater Triangle. And the three corners are three cities. The middle one is the Lake Michigan Triangle, which is actually the triangle itself is in the ocean, in that actually water, the Great Lake of Michigan. And then the third one is in Las Vegas, is in California and Nevada, which is called the Nevada Triangle. Interestingly, the Bermuda Triangle only has about 300 up to 500 mysteries that's unsolved and baffling the scientists, right? But the Nevada Triangle has about 2,000 mysteries or more in the last 60 years, that not only airplanes disappear, but also humans disappear. Boys, kids, all the way to hikers, they disappeared in that area as well. And don't forget, the Area 51 is also a part of that.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
So how come? So, and also between three cities. With my research, I found three very fascinating, important relationships between these three. Don't forget, I never came up with those triangles. It was the names have been actually created by the locals. They found a lot of mysteries in that area. But what I found is that these three are related to each other. Number one, the centers of these triangles, if you draw a circle, the centers are on a straight line. How come? Is it coincidence? Yeah. Number two, they have the same proportions. So the Bridgewater Triangle is smaller, the smallest. The Nevada Triangle is very large, okay? If you connect a line from the top ones and the lower parts of them together, in the middle fits the Lake Michigan Triangle, right over there, the same size. This cannot be coincidence. Okay. Yeah. Number three, they have same distances of 400 miles.
Oh.
Yes, and very interestingly, I found out that the most paranormal site in the United States, if it's not in the world, is called the Skinwalker Ranch. The Skinwalker Ranch, the main question on the Skinwalker Ranch is why everything's happening in that area, in that location.
Yeah.
Interestingly, that location is on that line. I called the line Sha'Z Main Line or Sha'Z Principal Line.
Yeah.
Okay. And that line is super interesting. Interestingly, again, the distance between the center of the Nevada Triangle to the Skinwalker Ranch, which is on that Sha'Z Principal Line, is 400 miles. Again, the distance between the center of the Nevada Triangle to Sedona, which is another
vortex
location, vortex location, that's what people say. That's also 400 miles. And also the distance between the Skinwalker Ranch to the Sedona is 400 miles.
Really? Okay.
So the distances are the same. There's also another natural events in nature, if you go and look. There's a mountain in Wyoming called the Devil's Tower, which they used that Devil's Tower for the movie Close Encounter of the Third Time, right? By Steven Spielberg. Amazing.
Good movie.
The distance between that tower to the Skinwalker Ranch is also 400 miles. So this is the combination of things that I found. I have a lot more information. It's all in my second book, Sha'Z Mystic Lines and Areas. And you will see over there how all these things are related and they're connected together. By looking at these numbers, I also came up with another triangle, which is centered at Skinwalker Ranch. That triangle, I named it as the Utah Triangle for the first time. And in my book, I show how step by step I reverse engineered all those numbers and I came up with the Utah Triangle. Very, very interesting. It's all simple geometry. If you have like elementary geometry knowledge, like lines and angles and distance, you can easily understand my book. Totally. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. Okay. So I have a presentation coming up in Alien Events, which is on September 12th, like next month, to September 14th. There are 3 days. It's an amazing location. It's in Las Vegas, which is a corner of the Nevada Triangle. Also, it's in the middle of the city, very close to the airport. It's a hotel, and you can come in for free because the parkings are free. The exhibit is also free. You just have to get some tickets if you want to go to this speech that people have. A lot of scientists are there, a lot of locals, a lot of fascinating people are there. There's going to be two exhibits, two events in one location, not just one event. It's very broad topics. It have a lot of topics over there. The alien event, Cosmic Command, is one of them, which I am in that group, and a lot of actually speakers as well, and scientists. There's another one called Biomed Expo, which they have their own actually groups of scientists and researchers. Amazing. So these two events are in one location, same time. So I'm encouraging everybody to come over there. I have two speech over there. I have a booth over there, first of all, if you want to come and talk. And I'm very good in talking. I really enjoy talking with amazing people. But I have two speech. The first speech that I have is on Saturday morning at 10, which I'm going to talk about these two books, Sha'Z Square in the Middle East, Sha'Z Mystic Lines and Areas in the United States. And then I'm going to talk for the first time over there how these two are related to each other and how the pyramids are related to the Bermuda Triangle, the Nevada Triangle, Bridgewater Triangle, to Sedona. And for the first time, I'm showing those relationships and how the pyramids and the Kaaba and Sha'Z Square with the king and the ziggurats are related to all of them. They're all on one grid.
Interesting.
I did not build the Kaaba. I did not build the pyramids, just to let you know. I'm joking. I did not come up with the Bermuda Triangle. I did not come up with the Bridgewater Triangle, Lake Michigan Triangle, Nevada Triangle, and even one in the north, which is called the Alaska Triangle. I did not come up with these things, right? But I found a geometric relationship between their locations, how they are on a grid. For the first time, I'm going to show this. So if you're interested about these topics and to find out some new evidences of our nature and what our ancestors did, you're more than welcome to come to my presentation and see those things on maps, and in real time I can show them to you.
Yeah. And actually, what you're talking about, things being 400 miles apart, and that is there is an Earth grid. If we look into what Nikola Tesla found, he said, yes, there is an Earth grid, and it is totally based in science, because where the lines intersect, you have a stronger energy that can be tapped into. And he talked a lot about this, and that's what we're seeing in Sedona and places. There are energy vortexes that when you are in that vortex, you feel different. You can have visions, you can have insights, and things happen that doesn't happen everywhere else.
Yeah. Well, Nikola Tesla is one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
besides being genius, he was very dedicated himself, his life, his money, everything to science. And
Yeah.
if we are living very comfortable these days versus when we were living in caves, a huge portion of our comfort is coming from what Nikola Tesla uh, uh, came up with and his work. Okay, he was an inventor, I can tell. He was a mechanical engineer. He was an electrician. He was a scientific electrical, I mean, engineer, I can tell. Very, very smart person, way beyond his time. Okay. Uh, Unfortunately, we lost him very short.
Yeah.
Every minute of his life was useful for our humanity. Right now, if we have a lot of technologies around us, has came with by his actually inventions and what he did. Uh, yes, he was not American. I think he was coming from Europe, and so very very fascinating person thing. What I want to
Yes.
know is that yeah, the location that he was doing investigations about this electrical grid on the ground is also interesting because it's somehow related to my grid.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
There is a connection.
There's a
Absolutely.
connection.
Everybody can see that.
Yeah, but what I did is that I put this map and you can see the map and you can compare it with the modern map and it's measurable, it's scientific, and everything is by NASA, Google Earth. You can go and look at them. But one amazing thing is that I found out that there are other relationships between other mysteries that we have in our world. Like the most topic, the highest, actually, the hottest topic that we have these days, at least since 2017, is the UFOs. UFOs are one of the most actually enigmatic event that's happening in our Earth and to the history of mankind. Many believe it doesn't exist. Many believe it exists, and there's a challenge in between people's belief, right?
Yeah.
And since 2017, the government of the United States, which was long time denying this, came up with some actually images and some videos, which I believe there were three of them first, and then more is coming. That there are some objects around that we are not aware of, but their technology, where they're coming from, and their science and their physics and mathematics are totally different than ours. Okay, it's very useful to study about UFOs because we can, like Tesla, we can come up with some ideas about increasing and progressing our knowledge in mathematics and physics and electronics and everything else to have a much more better life.
Yeah.
Okay, just imagine our cars can fly without fuel. Just imagine you can teleport yourself from one location to another location, or you can transfer from one location to another location much more faster and easier. So you don't, you save a lot of time, right? And trips, things like that.
Absolutely.
So my book, my third book that I just published this year is Mysteryology Codes, because it's a series. And my first book, I talk a little bit about Mysteryology, what the method is and what it's doing. And I gave some examples over there. And then I go and touch on 4 or 5 of the most important incidents about UFOs in modern time. One of them is that is very, very important. It's number one, I think, is the Roswell UFO crash. Many believe it happened. Government denies. A lot of people also deny. So there's a challenge, right? There's a controversy over there, and people are talking about it. We have people that they saw the object. We have people that they saw the entities, and then we have people that they deny them. Okay,
Yeah.
so our science, mathematics, and physics is in an edge of answering that question. Did that event happen? Are the UFOs real?
Yeah.
Another incident happened in Russia. They call it the Russian UFO. I mean, the Russian Roswell UFO crash. It was a different year, different location in the other side of the world, right? They look like they're not related time-wise. They're not related also location-wise, right? Okay. But the incidents are the same. Both of them crashed and the entities came out. In the Russian side, there's a video about the Roswell, I mean, about the UFO that crashed. The video is out. And also there is a video of a few doctors that they're doing autopsy on the body, on the entity, and the entity's color is green. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I found commonalities between these two, and I found out that locations are specific and they're related to each other for the first time. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
And this is in my book. Then the following chapter of that book is two other incidents that they are isolated. They're different timing, again, different what's it called? Location. Okay. Both of them same scenarios. The first one is in United States. So radar shows to talk very quickly and short, radar shows a blip that is unknown. There's a device over there causing a blip on the radar. It's unknown. It's a little bit higher than the Lake Michigan Triangle. It's in the Canada actually territory. Okay, but a little bit above the Lake Michigan Triangle. So they scrambled a jet with two pilots. They went over there. The radar shows two blips getting closer to each other. And then the pilot says somehow that I see the object, but then the communication drops. Okay. There's no communication between the tower and the pilots, but the radar still shows that these two blips getting closer to each other. At one point, they merge, become one blip, and poof, they disappear.
Yeah.
The area was Kinross, so it's very well known as a Kinross UFO incident. Until today, they haven't found the pilots, any sign of the pilots or the airplane or anything. Okay, it's a long time. Same story happened in the other side of the world, in Australia, in the southern part of Melbourne, in Australia, near the Bass area. A young pilot, Valentich, he is just practicing piloting, right? He's around 22, 23 years old, I believe. So he's practicing. At one point, he calls the tower and the airport and tells them, hey, is there any traffic under 5,000 feet? Because I see an object, an airplane. They reply back, there's nothing there. But he's watching a silvery metallic object, which is round without any wings or without any windows. Again, long story short, both of them disappeared.
Yes.
Same scenario, airplane and UFO disappeared in Australia, different timing, different location. An airplane and a UFO disappears in Kinross, in Canada, between Canada and United States. Okay, these two same scenarios, but different timing and different location, right?
Yeah.
I found relationships between them again by looking at the nature.
Yes, it is. I have. I like to show. I like to share screen and show your website because there's interesting things on there that should be explored. Hang on just a second, and I will bring that up. And give me about another 11 seconds here, and we're going to be good. So there we go.
While you're preparing this, can I continue that section that I was talking about, if you don't mind?
Yeah, there's the event you're talking about. To see the panel, these are some of the most interesting speakers on these kinds of issues in the world. Yep, there we are. And we have David Hatcher-Silvers, and you're here, and Kerry Cassidy is here, and a lot of others. So I'm going to scroll down for a moment, and here the alien event. You can comment as I'm doing here, if you like. And there is about you. And also up at the top, you can go and look at the books. And these are the listing of the books, and we have something on Mysteryology, and over to the right, which is covered up my picture, there's more stuff to look at. So I can't push on that. But here you go. If you haven't experienced Las Vegas, folks, you need to at least once in your life, because it is quite an experience, especially when you get some interesting things like this to watch. There we go. All right. Okay, we're back. Oh, we're getting down towards the end here. Let me ask you, what is next for you? What is the next project that you may be working on?
Well, right now I'm working on multiple projects and writing some books, because every time something comes up to my mind, I go and add it to the book. I'm writing on my second versions of these books.
Mhm.
The UAP, the third book that I have, which is in blue color, is here.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Mysteryology Codes, Part 1, UAP. I talk about the relationships between these UFOs and how they are related in a grid. And for the first time, it's been revealed over there. This is also my second presentation, which is on Sunday morning. So I have two presentations. One is Saturday morning at 10, and the other one is in Sunday morning at 10 a.m., both of them. So over there, I show the relationship between these UFO incidents, how they're related to each other for the first time. I also came up with somehow a map that shows where these UFOs appear. So that map is very interesting. So,
Yeah.
but I just showed a portion of it because it's already like about 200 pages. All right, so I stopped it there. I'm working on the following of this book, which is part 2. And that's going to be very fascinating, because now everything I learned is going to gather in that section in that book. And I'm going to touch on the most important